Do you see much similarity in the understanding of, I guess, liberating these people and manumitting enslaved people? And you could
Yeah,
say
that's a
past.
good
That's
question.
fine. I understand that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
what your article's about. I'm just
yeah.
curious.
I mean, I think there are some connections. I think one of the hardest ways that I think one of the things that makes it so weird to talk about manumission today is that in some ways it's a practice that doesn't exist anymore because we don't have kind of modern legal context for slavery, right? Like slavery is illegal under international law. So there's no kind of legal framework in modernity for like modern enslavers to legally manumit and enfranchise enslaved people. But I feel like there are some analogies that could help us make sense for like people who get up from conditions of trafficking or like forced or unfree labor through the person who exploited them, right? So like in modernity, like paying your way out or being granted freedom when their exploiter in a kind of modern enslaver dies. So there's some similarities, but I think the hardest thing is that it's not totally apples and oranges, but it's so hard to compare because we live under like such a different legal framework in modernity than antiquity, where like manumission is like part of how slavery worked. It's built into this. It's one of the cogs of the system in antiquity, rather than like the release valve. So it's such a weird system compared to um, kind of anti-trafficking movements today.
And I think that may be that it's a criminal conspiracy. So there isn't a continuing relationship at the end, except, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just now realizing the permissive language in the 13th Amendment that allows essentially to to treat
Mm-hmm.
inmates like enslaved persons. And then there is the parole process that doesn't mean you're entirely out of prison. And if you so that might be, if you disagree, that's fine. But that might be the closest analogy, that you still have this link to the criminal justice system that can draw you back into its service under basically slave conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I think parole is a good example. Yeah, for like it's a good analogy for what ancient manumission looked like because yeah, you're still kind of legally bound to the former exploiter and have certain kind of legal obligations to them, often having to do with doing particular types of work, treating them in a quote unquote respectable manner. I think that's a helpful comparison to make here.
Well, good. You're welcome, everybody.